Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to another video of Be the Best DFS Daily Fantasy Sports Talk. My name is Bradford Best, and today is August 5th, 2016. And I'm going to go over the FanDuel slate for tonight. It's been a tough week for me. Last night, my Brave stack didn't work out, didn't cash. I think my total lineup points were like 70 or 80. It's just been a tough week. So I'm going to do things a little differently today. I've been watching a lot of videos about the experts across the industry. And, they talk a lot about stacking this team or stacking that team. But I'm about to go back to my original way of how I used to make lineups. Stacks are all good if you know how to do it. But if you, like me, and you only have like one, maybe two lineups a night, a stack is going to be all or nothing. Either your stack going to work for you or your stack is going to fail for you and you're not going to win nothing. So today, I'm not going to talk about stacks. I'm just going to talk about making the best possible lineup. And that's what I feel I got tonight. I just don't have the bankroll to be putting out a lot of different stacks. That's how a lot of the top players in this industry do. They have so much money. They have a little exposure to this team, a little exposure to that team, and they can afford to put multiple stacks out there. And if one stack fail, maybe their other one might work. So today is no stacks for me. It's just we're gonna talk about making a good lineup. So let's start off this thing with the pitcher position. And tonight at pitcher, I don't know if y'all seen my Facebook post, but I do believe that Justin Verlander at 9,900 is the best pitching option for tournaments and GPPs today. He's at home. If you look at his game log, look at it real quick. Playing against the New York Mets. Last game against Houston on July 30th, 66 fantasy points. Game before that, July 25th, 42 fantasy points. July 20th, 48 fantasy points. July 15th, 60 fantasy points. So his last four starts, he's got at least 40 fantasy points or more, with two being at least 60 or more. So Justin Verlander, he's a good pitching option for tonight, but he also might be a chalky option. So for me, this may sound crazy, but I'm going with Blake Snell for the Tampa Bay Rays. The reason I like Blake Snell, he's pitching at home at Tropicana Field, which is a ballpark that is conducive to good pitching. His last game log at home against the New York Yankees, 49 fantasy points, five and a third innings pitched, 9 strikeouts. The game before that, he was at Oakland. He only got 26 fantasy points. That was a bad game, which was on July 24th. But one key game that I saw in Blake Snell's game log, let's see, July 19th at Colorado, at Coors Field, he had 57 fantasy points. If you can put up 57 fantasy points at Coors Field, I find that quite impressive. So, tonight at 7,900, I'm going completely against the grain. He probably will be low on, less than 10% on, but I'm riding with Blake Snell. Now, I admit this move, it might not work for me, but what I've been doing earlier this week hasn't been working for me, so I'm trying to switch things up, do things a little differently, and Blake Snell is that guy I like for tournaments and GPPs. Other than Verlander and Blake Snell, other pitchers on the board that you could possibly consider, I think Michael Pineda for the New York Yankees. He's boom or bust. He's pretty good. Got good stuff. Can strike out a lot of batters. But they're playing against Cleveland, who's a good hitting team. So if you pick him, do so with caution. Dallas Keuchel, if he returned to his form from last year, he could possibly have a good game. And maybe Noah Syndergaard. Detroit, they're known to have bad games, and Syndergaard, he's the highest priced pitcher on the slate. So He could also be a good tournament play. You probably could make a case for a lot of different pitchers. Francisco Liriano at Kansas City, a pitcher's ballpark. Last month, Liriano had 13 strikeouts in the game. Yami Garcia for the St. Louis Cardinals pitching at home against my team, the Braves, who's weak at offense. You could make a case for a lot of different pitchers for tonight. But me, I'm going with Blake Snell. So that's all for that. I'm gonna move on to the rest of my lineup. No, like I said, no stacks tonight. At the catcher position, I like Buster Posey. He had the day off yesterday. He's probably one of the best catchers in the majors. I'm gonna look up, his statistics against Gio Gonzalez. Where is it? Posey. In 19 at bats, he's batting .316 with one career home run against Gio Gonzalez. So with that kind of history, and I looked at the weather report on Roto Grinders. The wind is supposed to be blowing out a little to left center. I like Buster Posey tonight at the catcher position. Other players you could consider at the catcher position: Wilson Ramos, another player with good batter versus pitcher statistics. In 14 at bats, he's batting .357 with two career home runs against Gio Gonzalez. So Wilson Ramos, I think he's also an excellent tournament/GPP play tonight. And it goes without saying, Coors Field, anybody from the Rockies or the Marlins, definitely consider them tonight. So that would be not Grandal. I'm sorry. That would be Riamato for the Marlins, or Walters for the Rockies. See who else we got. Evan Gaddis at home, lefty versus righty matchup. He always a threat to hit a home run. I guess you could do Brian McCann. I'm kind of not feeling him right now, how he burnt me last night, so I'm not really feeling Brian McCann tonight. But he's another good option, playing at home at Yankee Stadium. And, that's about all I see for the catcher position. All right, moving on to first base. This is a position that I punted at. I got Adam Lynn for the Seattle Mariners, going up against Tim Lincecum. Adam Lynn, he's a left-hander for the Mariners. He has 16 home runs on the season. He's sort of like a platoon player. He only plays against right-handed pitching. When they have left-handed pitchers, he normally sits on the bench. But tonight, I expect him to get the start. Going up against Tim Lincecum, who's just not the same player he used to be. I'm going to read off Tim Lincecum's stats. 8 games played this season, 35 innings pitched, 58 hits he's given up, 8.49 ERA. That's just to say Tim Lincecum, he's just not a very good pitcher anymore in 2016. And with Adam Lynn at 2,900, I think that's a great price, a sneaky play, a guy with home run upside. Adam Lynn is my punt play, also my tournament/GPP play for tonight at first base if he starts. If you're not punting at that position, let's see, good options. Let me look. Will Myers for the San Diego Padres. I think he's a good play. I'm a big batter versus pitcher statistics guy. Myers in 11 at bats versus Friedrich. He's batting .364 with 2 career home runs. I think Carlos Santana for the Cleveland Indians. He's leading off, switch hitter. He hit a home run last night. They're playing at Yankee Stadium with Pineda on the mound. He'll be batting from the left side, which gives him a better chance to hit a home run, because Yankee Stadium, that's the park with the short, right field fence. definitely consider Coors Field. Who's ever starting for the Rockies in the Marlins. It might be Chris Johnson. I'm not sure who the Rockies first. Mark Reynolds. So whoever's starting in that game, and maybe Mark Teixeira. He's 2,500. He announced that he's going to retire at the end of the season. So maybe he get pumped up for this game tonight and return to old form and hit a home run. Maybe Mark Teixeira. And that's about all I see at first base. Remember, no stacking for me tonight. Moving on to the next position, player who I'm probably going to lock in, second base. I'm going with Daniel Murphy for the Washington Nationals. The batter versus pitcher statistics, going to it. Versus Samardzija. In 12 at-bats, he's batting .500 with 1 career home run and 2 RBIs. Lefty versus righty matchup, he's at home. I like Daniel Murphy. He's one of the top second basemen on the slate. I got him in there for my top tournament GPP play for tonight at second base. Other options that you can consider, of course, D. Gordon playing at Coors Field. He could put up some points. Jose Altuve, a right-handed batter going up against a left-handed pitcher. Let's see. I don't like Odor for the Texas Rangers. I really don't like him in that lefty-lefty matchup versus Dallas Keuchel. Gonna keep looking. Maybe Brian Dozier. He's a left-handed. He a lefty killer, but I ain't messing with Dozier because I'm big on Snell. So I hope none of the Twins don't do anything. But Dozier could definitely be a good play. Let's see, just going down the list. That's about all I see, at second base. I don't really see too much, but I do think Daniel Murphy is one of the top options at second base. And since I'm not worrying about no stack, I'm getting the best players I can get in my lineup. So Daniel Murphy, he's going to be that guy for me at second base. Moving on to the third base position. I guess you could call this a punt play. Right now I got Jake Lamb. The thing that was appealing to me about Jake Lamb was his salary price. $2,800 for a player of his skills. I think he's underpriced. I got it sorted with fantasy points per game. That's how I got the player pool sorted. And he's fifth out of all the third basemen on the slate tonight. And his price is $2,800. In fantasy point per game average is Donaldson, Chris Bryant, Nolan Arenado, and Manny Machado, and then Jake Lamb. And their prices are Donaldson $4,900, Chris Bryant $4,200, Nolan Arenado $4,400, Machado $3,800, and Jake Lamb $2,800. I think that's too low. So in order to make some room in my lineup for salary space, I think Jake Lamb is a great play tonight. Left-handed batter going up against a right-handed pitcher in a hitter's ballpark at Chase Field. Last 2 games Jake Lamb's played, he got a home run in 2 straight games. He's just that play for me. He could go overlooked, because you got Coors Field, you got Donaldson, you got Nolan Arenado, Chris Bryant. You got a lot of good players at third base. So Jake Lamb, that's that guy I'm probably going to roll with tonight. Home run in 2 straight games. I'm looking for him to get another home run in the 3rd straight game tonight. Other options at third base, I think Todd Frazier is a very, very good play also. His price tag is $3,600. I'm going to read you his BVP statistics. Let's see. Frazier versus Gallardo for the Baltimore Orioles. In 32 at-bats, he's batting .344 with one career home run and 2 RBIs. For Todd Frazier, that's great because he's a player who in general hits for a low average. For this season, Todd Frazier is batting .213. That's horrible for a major league player to be batting .213, and for him to be batting .344 in a sample size of 32 at bats against a pitcher. That's just says he's good at hitting this particular pitcher. So Todd Frazier, I think he would be a great play for tournaments tonight. But the way my lineup is set up and, the different prices for the players I have, I'm probably not going to use Frazier. But I would recommend that Todd Frazier, if you can afford him, definitely get some exposure to him. And to round out the third base position, Adrian Beltre, he got one career home run against Dallas Keuchel, however you pronounce his name. Let me look up his batter versus pitcher statistics. Beltre, 49 at bats, large sample size, batting .265, one career home run. Lefty versus righty matchup, Hitters Ballpark in Minute Maid Park in Houston. Beltre at 3,000. He's another great play. It goes without mentioning. Definitely consider who's ever at third base for the Coors Field game. Arenado, and I believe they have Martin Prado. Definitely consider both of them. And that's all I pretty much have to say about the third base position. I think Todd Frazier's a great play, but for me, based on the salary price of Jake Lamb at $2,800, I think that's just too low for him to be at that price. So I'm sticking him in there. At shortstop, this guy's pretty much a lock for me tonight. Brad Miller for the Tampa Bay Rays. This guy got 19 home runs on the season. He's homered in his last 2 games. He's a righty killer. He's at home. Price tag $3,500. Brad Miller. That's who I like at the shortstop position. If you're not feeling Brad Miller, definitely I think Trey Turner for the Nationals. Lefty versus righty matchup. He leading off at home for the Nationals. His price tag is just kind of high, $3,900. Could get Corey Seager for the Dodgers. He's back at home. He hit a home run last night. He could be in the groove. He's definitely in play. Villar, very high price tag of $4,100, but he's playing at a hitter's park. Switch hitter. He typically leads off. And Villar in 3 at-bats versus Shipley, he's 2 for 3, 1 career home run. Carlos Correa's always in play. Lefty versus righty matchup at home in Minute Maid Park. This guy probably my second favorite at shortstop tonight. Francisco Lindor of the Cleveland Indians. $3,500. Lefty versus righty matchup. Ballpark that's good for left-handed hitters to hit home runs in Yankee Stadium. He could be a great play, but Pineda, sometimes he pitched good games, so that's why I kind of swayed away from him. But again, Brad Miller, that's my guy for tonight. I'm rolling with the hot hand, and he's at home. He's hit a home run the last 2 games. I think he's the best play. Other than those few players that I talked about, I really don't see too much else at the shortstop position. I'm sorry, I failed to mention Xander Bogaerts, lefty versus righty matchup, going up against Kazmir of the Dodgers, who's a left-handed pitcher. Bogaerts could also be a good play. But Brad Miller, that's that guy at shortstop for me. Moving on. Next position, outfield position. Favorite position that for my lineup tonight. The guy that's pretty much a lock for me tonight, Ian Desmond of the Texas Rangers. Love his batter versus pitcher statistics against Dallas Keuchel. I'm going to read it off to you. Desmond, 12 at-bats. He's batting .500, 2 career home runs, 7 RBIs. I believe he's batting second in the order tonight. He's one of the top as far as average fantasy points per game for outfielders tonight. On FanDuel, he's ranked number 5 behind Altherr of Philly, Mookie Betts, Carlos Gonzalez, and Dahl of Colorado. Ian Desmond, I believe he's a great play. I know a lot of people probably may stack the Rangers tonight, but I ain't messing with those stacks. Ian Desmond, 20 home runs on the season. Last time he hit a home run was on July 29th, but in that ballpark, Minute Maid Park, where it's favorable for right-handed power, Ian Desmond, he's a lot for me in my lineup tonight at the outfield position. My other 2 outfield positions, this one was mainly based off of salary in combination with the home run upside. Chris Davis, Chris with a K for the Oakland Athletics, going up against John Lester. Now, I know John Lester is a good pitcher, but the game is in Oakland. He's a left-handed pitcher, and Chris Davis, he is no scrub. This guy got 27 home runs this season, and he's been known to hit left-handed pitching pretty well. So with that type of home run upside and his price at $2,800, I think that's something I can't pass up on. Him playing at home in Oakland. He got 27 home runs on the season. Lefty versus righty matchup, $2,800. That's just too low for Chris Davis. So I'm sticking him in at that second outfield position. In my last outfield position, I don't even know if this guy's going to play tonight. I'll check when the lineups come out. But Mike Trout, people consider him the best player in the league, like I've said in my previous videos. But he has a pretty impressive batter versus pitcher statistics versus King Felix Hernandez. Let me go to it. A large sample size. Mike Trout, 72 at-bats. He's batting .375 with 5 career home runs and 15 RBIs versus Felix Hernandez. King Felix, he's not the same pitcher that he once was, a couple seasons ago. Mike Trout, he sat out yesterday. They said he had like a head cold, but hopefully he plays tonight. Maybe a lot of people won't pick him because of him being like sick yesterday, which will work in my favor. But Mike Trout, he's one of those players who could give you a 30, 40 fantasy point game any given game. He's a great player. Good history versus King Felix. 4,200. That's how I round up my lineup. So a recap on my lineup. I did a little differently today. Did not want to focus on stacks because for me personally, I think if you stacking, you have to have different stacks that you can have exposure to. If you just a player like me who can only afford to put 1, maybe 2 lineups out, a stack is either going to make you or break you. If your stack do well, you cashing. If your stack don't do well, you losing. And quite frankly, I'm tired of losing and I'm ready to win tonight. I got to stay true to myself and can't, really follow what everyone else do. So again, tonight I just made a lineup with players who I think are in good spots, no stacks, to get the job done. I'm rolling the dice with Blake Snell for Tampa Bay. I'm not telling you to play him, but that's just who I'm playing. It's just a gut move. I like Posey, great catcher, high upside. Adam Lynn, I got him in right now. I may switch it out. Daniel Murphy, he's one of the best second basemen in the league this year. Jake Lamb, great price, $2,800. Lefty versus righty matchup. Brad Miller, been on fire. 2 home runs the last 2 games. Lefty versus righty matchup. Ian Desmond, that's the one player who's definitely staying in my lineup. Lefty versus righty matchup. Good history against Dallas Keuchel. Good ballpark in Minute Maid Ballpark for home runs for right-handed hitters. Chris Davis, that price just too low. Can't pass up on it. 2,800. I'm sticking him in there against John Lester. Chris Davis, I think one game earlier this season, I believe he hit 3 home runs. So he a 2 home run threat any given night. 27 home runs on the season. And, the last player I got, Mike Trout, don't really need to explain too much about him. Everybody know about Trout. Just got to make sure he's in the lineup tonight before everything lock up. But, that's about it for the video for today. Tried not to make it too long. Switched it up a little because, I've been in a slump this week. So, like I said, the losses teach lessons. The wins, you count them as blessings. So, I've been losing. So, I learned some things from my losses. Them stacks, they don't work all the time. So, we're going away from the stacks. But I don't want to keep rambling on and on about how I feel about stacks. Thank everybody for who's taking the time out to watch this video. My 3 subscribers that I have on YouTube, I thank y'all for subscribing. I thank everybody who's joined the Facebook group. I thank everybody who's followed the Twitter handle at BeTheBestDFS. Search for the group on Facebook, hashtag BeTheBestDFS, and search for it on YouTube, hashtag BeTheBestDFS. I wish y'all much success tonight. Hopefully y'all can win some money. I hope y'all found this video that I put out today helpful. If you like the video and find it helpful, please subscribe. Reach out to me. Give me some thoughts. Give me feedback. Just interact with me. I'm still trying to get used to these videos and getting everything right with the camera and stuff like that. But I'm just gonna keep on working at it, and hopefully tonight is a successful night. So I'm gonna leave y'all with what I always leave y'all with. Just get your lineups right and try to be the best. All right, I'm out.